Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Spawn Duty. I'm Spontaneous, and welcome to a new possible series if you guys wanted to. I'm gonna just call it Storytime. It's gonna be stories about my life, people's else's lives, stories that I know, things that have happened to me. Some will be military, some will not be, some will just be things I've experienced. First story time is gonna be probably one of my favorite recent stories. If you guys enjoy this series or just these story times, tell me. So as the title kind of said, I dug a foxhole, which if you don't know what a foxhole is, in the military it is a temporary fighting position. So you're not supposed to be there longer than 24 hours. And if you're there for longer than 24 hours, you need to make it more of a permanent fighting position. But you're not supposed to be longer than 24 hours in a foxhole. So we were digging foxholes at our anvil, which is a step in basic training. You have 3 different steps. You have the hammer, anvil, and forge. The anvil is supposed to be like the middle, not the hardest, but not the easiest. Well, we were given about 4 hours to dig our foxholes, which is a lot of time for basic training, plus a lot of time of like, we'd have things to do. So we were digging our foxholes. Well, people would help each other out digging, and all you need to do for a foxhole is you start off with the highest end where your head's going to be at. You go down to where your rucksack's going to be at your feet. And you're supposed to be able to sleep there, hold a fighting position, and not be found by the enemy. So you can use natural shrubbery and all that put around you, trying not to get found by the other people. And you'll have lines of people creating this kind of triangle barrier where the person in charge is in the middle and you just have it set up. So I was on one of the flanks, and it was about 30 minutes in, 30 minutes in, I was still in my foxhole. We had 3.5 more hours to this, and I was just excited. We really hadn't been doing much outdoor things other than PT, and I was just ready. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna dig a little under area for my bag, because we had our buddy bag, which was the equipment we were just gonna have for a little bit. So we didn't actually ruck with our sleeping bag. There wasn't room in our rucksacks. We had like medium rucks, not the big rucks where we could carry a lot of stuff. So I ended up digging down the back probably foot. Like, I'm not extraordinarily tall, so it's my height plus like 4 inches plus an extra 1.5 for the bag. So it ended up being like 8.5 feet like long by like 3 feet wide, about with my shoulders plus my hands a little bit. So the back foot to 1.5, I ended up starting to dig. So I'm like, I'm gonna make this hole where I can put my buddy bag and my rucksack and it'll be fine. Well, I started digging and digging and digging. And about 2 hours in, I ended up not just doing the back part, but the entire hole itself. And I just dug down layer by layer. People would be walking by asking if they could jump in the hole I was digging, or like could help me and all that. I'd accept their help. They could come and jump in. I ended up having to make steps on the side to get up and out and go back in. So digging the hole, digging the hole, digging the hole. I get about to like my shoulder level down, and it's only my head up. And I'm looking around, and I'm just like, I can duck down and no one can see me. So I would yell for someone to come over, and I'd duck down. And they'd walk up, and I'd be like, hey! And they'd be like, what are you doing? I'm just like, I got bored. So I continued digging. I'm just digging more and more and more. Ended up digging so far that whenever we had a second lieutenant going around looking at our foxholes, he didn't see me at all. And at that point, I knew I was pretty far on the ground. I was in a really sandy area, so it wasn't hard to dig down, but it was like clay and sand, so it actually like stayed together very well. We had the tallest guy in our company, who was 6'7", get into the hole I was digging, where I was going to be sleeping, and he was below ground. He was 6'7", and his head was below ground. We ended up measuring it, and my hole was about 7.5 foot, close to 8 foot deep. So when I slept and I laid down in the hole, no one could see me, and they were worried that like it would rain that night and I would die, but it's okay, I'm not dead. The second lieutenant was walking around, and I heard him coming, so I started going up the little staircase. So we had 2 steps to go, like you're on the ground, step, you're on like where the actual ground is. I was walked out, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I got bored, sir." And he was like, "You know what? Joe's will be Joe's." And he kept on walking by like nothing happened. Ended up, he told the drill sergeant. Drill sergeant, really cool guy, walks up, sees the hole, and is like, "You're gonna die in there." I'm like, "Probably." He was like, "You know I'm not gonna save you, right?" I'm like, "Yep." And he told me, "Well, at least it's 8 foot. You're supposed to bury your body 6 foot down, so we can just push all the sand back in there." I'm like, "Yep, do it." So I slept there for the night. We woke up the next morning, and we had to fill in our holes. Well, a couple of guys during the night decided to cut down a couple of trees and use it for like cover. So we took all the sticks in the surrounding area, threw it into the hole, threw all of my loose dirt. We still had about an inch left, so we just covered it in pine needles. And we said, well, if the wood ever rots, that's a trap. It's gonna be great. So yeah, I dug about an 8 foot hole during basic training. Hope you like the story time. Bye.